Tradition is a wonderful thing, but before tradition comes firsts. The first time Puerto Rico have made it to this final stage. The first time Chinese Taipei have made it to this final stage. The first time that we will have a World Magic Cup final. Tradition comes from firsts, and now it's time to find out who will be the first World Magic Cup champion. It's showtime. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are around the world in the 71 countries and more that took part in the World Magic Cup 2012. I'm your host, Rich Hagan, welcoming you alongside the Pro Tour historian, Mr. Brian David Marshall. BDM, history in the making, the first ever World Magic Cup finals.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Two teams playing at this height for the first time, both Chinese Taipei and Puerto Rico. Two players. You see Su Chin-Kuo going, no, as Jorge Iramman comes out of the gate with a signal pass very quickly. He's like, please give me a chance to breathe here. It's robots on one side of the table versus a next level blue, blue-white tempo deck from the Chinese Taipei player.
So Arcbound Ravager is being offered up by Iramman, and he's well aware, given the matchup, that he is offering up what he's attempting to play.
See, Iramman is sorting through his cards, thinking about his...
These lists feel nice. They feel real nice.
Never have I heard that.
So yesterday you and I had a conversation about players coming to this event and the idea of like almost like when I think of people about their wedding.
Yep.
I say take time to enjoy the taste of your food.
Taste the food.
He's like, oh, your sleeves feel nice. He's taking in all the sensory inputs of this level of play.
And you know the sequel to that, it's like, oh, your sleeves feel nice, and your life total is really low.
Delicious. Spell snare on the
Arcbound
Arcbound
Ravager,
which tries again.
But as we know, you have to try again, because the first two get spell snared and remanded. In we go.
It's animated. And he's like, I want to get some damage in here.
You see, there's a really neat psychological thing going on here with Kuo, because right from the moment it starts, he is implying that everything that happens at the table is at his discretion, whether or not he's going to do anything about it. It's the way it certainly seems that he will... May I go to combat? Yeah, I suppose. Galvanic Blast for the Vendilion Click. And we're going to see Shrapnel Blast, Vault Scourge, Cranial Plating, Etch Champion, and another Arcbound Ravager.
Writes down the cards.
It's not the least exciting hand I've ever seen.
No. Take cranial plating, push it to the bottom. Shrapnel Blast kind of does the same thing.
Yeah.
No, he takes Etch Champion. And then he's like, get these other cards away from me.
Yeah. I don't like the feel of your sleeves.
Yeah, your sleeves feel gross.
Go ahead.
Quo's down to 15 very quickly.
The other matchups, Gabriel Nieves of Puerto Rico in Standard and Yumin Yang for Chinese Taipei. That's Delver for Puerto Rico, Zombies for Chinese Taipei. Block, Cesar Soto for Puerto Rico up against Terry Cheng of Chinese Taipei. That's a kind of Jundish mirror.
There's an Inkmoth Nexus.
Bit of a sort of to and fro in that block match, in fact. Falcon Wrath Aristocrat is down for Cesar Soto, but he's trying to race up against a Huntmaster plus a Wolf token. It's all, and a Borderland Ranger, the obligatory Borderland Ranger in those matchups. They're in a race of their own. This isn't a race right now. This is all about Quo trying to stabilize through the early part of the game and then taking control.
Just give you let's see how this is. Animate the Inkmoth Nexus. Inkmoth Nexus.
So Path to Exile sends away.
So I talked to Quo about the 12-0 run, by the way.
Yes.
That was 12-0 to start the tournament.
Right.
And then in the last round of the event, once they had locked up top 8, they got defeated by Hungary, who was fighting for seeding position.
Yes.
In fact, got defeated by Hungary so badly that Quo enlisted the aid of the Japanese team overnight.
Take 2.
Really?
How do I beat them? What do I do?
Well, the Japanese amongst the best players in the world. You've got Yuya Watanabe, Yuta Takahashi. What did they tell him?
Well, he wouldn't tell me the secret.
Oh.
He wouldn't tell me the secret.
Really?
But I imagine it had something to do with his opponent not drawing a lot of lands.
Ah, okay. The Frank Castle Thiago Chan plan from 2006 Worlds.
Quo and the Japanese players have a lot of interaction with each other in that Grand Prix circuit.
Of course.
And have come to know each other over the years.
Yeah, it was something someone was saying on, I think it was Cover It Live, saying about how Shang Huang as well and Su Jin Quo, the two of them, travel to a lot of GPs, and they don't get as much coverage as some of the top Japanese names. You're right. Again, it's something that we try to be fair to people from all over the world, and we showcase them when we can. And certainly, Quo, with his 9 GP top 8s, has really, his stock has risen in the global game this weekend.
Plays a pair of Vault Scourges.
Yeah.
Still has 3 cards in hand.
Again, we mentioned Morbid earlier on. I really love Phyrexian Manor. I think that's been a great addition to the game. In terms of strategic width and depth, I appreciate that some people find it very miserable to die to a Dismember against a blue-white deck. But no, I've really enjoyed making my Vault Scourges for 1 and a bit of life.
Thinking about that Vault Scourge. Ultimately deciding to Spell Snare it. You may have only paid 1 mana, but its converted mana cost is 2. Thank you.
So in block, Cesar Soto has taken game 1 for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico leads 1-0 in the block battles against Terry Cheng. So first blood to Puerto Rico in that one.
14?
There's a couple of Giraffe's messengers down for Yumin Yang in his standard match. And so a reasonable start for him against Gabriel Nieves, who's playing Delver in that one. Zombies for Chinese Taipei, Delver for Puerto Rico.
Quo goes on the assault with his Snapcaster Mage. He's like, yeah, I'm not scared of you.
Well, to be fair, I mean, it's meant to be really explosive, the robots, and they haven't been. In 14-15, that seems extremely even.
12?
Drawn a third Vault Scourge. And Iramman has done a fair amount of damage to himself with his Phyrexian Mana spells. It's like that resolves.
In we come, and Quo says, I'm going to pass to Exile. Iramman just, again, looking at the artwork, the alternate art. And that was that. Wait, when you... Oh, right, sure, it's a path.
Right. So much of your Magic visual vocabulary is knowing card art. And the alternate card art is, if you haven't seen it, if you just play with your collection, and I'm not a big alternate card art guy. I mean, if I come across it, I love it. So it's always a little arresting for me to see it.
Yeah, and arresting is a great word because you do momentarily stop, don't you? You go, oh, right.
And it and it puts a little glitch in your synapses about how you process the game.
And,
that was a fail to find from Jorge, who only plays 2 mountains.
Okay. He has found his cranial plating countered. And again, Quo seeming to have all the answers. I mean, he's only got 2 cards in hand, but those cards are Restoration Angel and Dismember. He's got a Celestial Colonnade on the board. He's got Snapcaster Mage on the board. He's facing a Signal Pest and a Vault Scourge. And the 2 cards in Iramman's hand are Shrapnel Blast, which Quo already knows about. I think that might be another... Is that an Arcbound Ravager?
Yeah. Yes. Does not go on the offensive here.
So arguably it's a good job that Soto is 1-0 up in block, because I would certainly say Quo's a strong favourite now here in game 1 of Modern against the Puerto Rican national champion Jorge Iramman.
Talk a little bit about Iramman here.
Yeah.
So 9 lifetime pro points. He's played in 2 pro tours, played in 9 Grand Prix. I guess his best finish is a top 32 at Salt Lake City this year.
And that's interesting, not only in terms of the timing, but also the location. The fact that you're breaking out, obviously Puerto Rico, it's an island, it's very small community. And the fact that you travel to events, it's where you get to interact with your Conley Woods, your Patrick Chapins, and so on. And I think it's so important to broaden your Magic horizons if you are for a small community. It's certainly something we face in the UK. We're a relatively small Magic community, there's no doubt that when you do travel to the Grand Prix events, that's where your game really starts to improve in terms of a global level. Fantastic shot of the line of players. And 3 matches for those trophies, just wonderful.
Yeah, those magnificent new trophies.
Aren't they just great? Look at that. That's what they're playing for. Sure, there's money. Sure, there's prestige. It's you hold the trophy aloft and forevermore. It's not even that you are this year's World Magic Cup champions. Forevermore, you're the first.
I talked to Darren DeButler earlier this weekend. He was Irish national champion, proudly wearing his champion's badge, his champion's medallion. And he said he was expecting there to be a lot of sourness back in the UK over past champions who never got anything as cool for being the national champion. I mean, there's something to that.
It's pretty wonderful.
Path to Exile and, Dismember takes out the Vault Scourge.
Yeah, Arcbound Ravager, counter it. Quo just has all the answers all the time.
Spell Snare.
And you're looking at an Angel, a Snapcaster Mage up against a Signal Pest. That's all. Iramman in deep, deep trouble here. We're going to see Shrapnel Blast for the Restoration Angel to try and slow things down. Quo attacks. Iramman falls to 5.
Goes for next champion. We don't know what card Quo has drawn. He only has 1 card left in hand.
That is a great face of someone who is playing hard. Nope, that's all I got. What are you doing?
You're 5.
Yeah.
Snapcaster.
You're 5. Oh, in that case, I'll Snapcaster remand that.
Yeah. Bye. I'll draw a card.
Go.
Land will do it. Well, a land that works would it. Yep, there we go. Celestial
Telegram.
Colonnade. Bang. And there you have it.
What?
So Chinese Taipei take the lead
Oh, yeah.
in Modern. Ultra Pro is the leading manufacturer of trading card game sleeves and deck boxes. If you're looking for official Magic 2013 portfolios, card storage boxes, deck boxes, sleeves and playmats, Ultra Pro has you covered. For more information, visit wizards.com/magic merchandise. So it's a win for Quo, 1-0 over Iramman, 0-1. In Standard, we're at 0-0. That's where we're heading next. We're going to try and check in on Gabriel Nieves of Puerto Rico up against Yumin Yang of the Chinese Taipei team. He's playing Zombies. Nieves is playing Delver.
And an Augur of Bolus trying to hold the fort against a pair of Geralf's Messengers and a Fume Spitter on the board. We are still in game 1 here.
With
Nobody has the advantage yet, other than, on the board.
Yeah, but I mean, Nieves is in trouble. He's down to 5. With Augur of Bolus for him, but he's looking at 2 Geralf's Messengers and a Fume Spitter. Looks like we're catching the very, very end of this one.
I've been very impressed with these zombie decks this weekend.
Yep. This is a strange one. Do you think there is almost a stigma attached to zombie decks because they are zombies? That it almost like if this was an elf deck, more people would play it. If it was goblins, more people would play it. If it was angels, everyone would play it. But because it's zombies, it's like, zombies. That's like a little kiddie zombie
I think
thing.
there's a stigma attached to all those decks. I think that I think that people sometimes think that the tribal decks are just kind of like little kid decks.
Okay, so you think it is just a tribal thing?
Yeah, to some extent.
Right.
I mean, but zombie decks have clearly done well. They've clearly
Richard Parker won a Grand Prix.
Yeah,
in Lille.
they've clearly, done away with a lot of that. They've moved ahead. I made a joke earlier this weekend that someone buried a White Weenie deck, and it crawled up from the grave as a zombie deck. It's very similar. You play out a lot of cheap guys. You have. See?
Yumin Yang says, "Here's
Vampire.
a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat."
It's okay.
You can't counter it with your handful of mana leaks, which we saw in Gabriel's hand.
And why not? Just to confirm for
Because
people.
we have a Cavern of Souls naming Vampire, and he used the colored mana from the Cavern of Souls to pay for his Vampire.
Yeah.
It is now unable to be countered.
Yeah. I move the counter on that.
God, this is going to be a tight one if Nieves is going to get out. As you say, and then when you just sort of render all those counter spells irrelevant, it's so frustrating. Yumin Yang playing at his first high-level event here. Played in a couple of GPs. In response to the Aristocrat, I'm going to Vapor Snag
This hasn't come into play.
the Geralf's Messenger.
Response, I cast this.
In response to guys.
Right, I can't counter that, but I can still
but I can do
respond
something
to it.
else before it comes into play. It's a
Cavern of Souls
battlefield.
doesn't give it split second. Right, because he has to Vapor Snag that, because otherwise he's Well, he's just going to die
Yeah,
anyway.
that's the.
The irony here is he's just going to die anyway. Unless he's got unless he's got another one. Okay.
Got 1. Yeah, 19.
All right, I'm at 19. He does have another vapor snag. Hey,
He apretado, pero tengo un out bien loco.
Okay.
Él, 19, nada más,
Okay.
en 5. Sí, sí. Ya tú sabes lo que hace doble de ese tipo. Sí. Tú lo has jugado. Tiene doble cueva.
So Soto one up
Eso la
on
montó
Terry
bastante para
Cheng
él,
in
parece.
block. Iramman from Puerto Rico one down to Su Ching Kuo in modern.
In response to that.
Okay.
And here we are, just clarifying
some
how all
result.
this is happening. You've got Gabriel Nieves trying to stay alive against Yumin Yang and the zombies from Chinese Taipei. And Nieves is down to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now the vapor snag occurs.
Él ya. Muy bien.
Can I count again?
Sure.
Sounds like Wolfis Silverheart has come down to join Avacyn's Pilgrim in block for Terry Cheng. They are already, they are looking to equalize that one. Currently, Cesar Soto leads that match 1-0. They may be heading for game 3.
Mira cómo le juego con la cabeza ahora.
Vampire.
like, yep, you've cast the mana leak.
And there's gut shot for the aristocrat. Ortiz down to 3.
No tengo la para hacerlo suficiente, pero si lo robo,
And
se va a-
Ortiz,
Ortiz is down to 1.
right?
And he paid for 2 gut shots, right?
Yep, yep. You can see the 1 on the top of the score pad on the right-hand side.
We know he's
of,
got 1 mana leak in hand for the neck for the Gerald's Messenger that's going to come back down. But he does not have a second one. Actually, if he hadn't gone for that mana leak, he might have had a shot here to go mana leak on the 2 Gerald's Messengers while getting in for, you know, potentially for a turn.
You're starting to look at Yumin Yang's hand. And, wow.
Go.
Que tengo, bueno, tengo que quitar vida.
Oh, it sounds like we weren't. Sounds like the back table is actually done, and it is victory for Chinese Taipei. We'll just confirm that for you. We'll just confirm for you that that is what we've got. That Terry Cheng 2-0 over Cesar Soto. That is what I'm hearing in my ear right now. Yep, the back table is done, and Terry Cheng is the winner, and that means that Chinese Taipei are just 1 match away from being the World Magic Champions.
因为是第一场，
Se tocó mucho
他
fue.
输了，因为他现在在抗那个，他一拳打不死我，
So there seems to be some sort of disagreement here.
他就是只能装派克打，我剩18，满了啊，一个 vampire 赢了，
No.
我知道。
So now,
Le hice un par de jugadas para
up
pelear,
against
pero
it,
me quedó un corto con-
Kuo is 1 up over Iramman.
Está en 18. Y si el-
Yang here against Nieves.
Sí, porque tiene el doble y era como-
Still in game one.
Me queda una vida. No tengo forma de...
Pike.
What?
No, nothing.
He has a mana leak for. Oh, he's got a Rune Chanter's Pike.
¿Cuánto de?
我干嘛要一直在那边 game 嘛？就一定输。
So they've been counting up. That's what all the graveyard
Right.
counting has been about. Nope.
Didn't draw anything.
He could have mana leaked to Charles Messenger.
But there you go. So advantage even more swings towards Chinese Taipei. They lead 1-0 in standard. Now, so we are going to return to modern, and that will be Su Chin Kuo up against Jorge Iramman. And there, Kuo leads 1-0.
There you see what looks like an annul in Quo's graveyard that he's used on a cranial plating.
And you are saying
So Iramman's at 20, Kuo is at 18. Iramman's likely to stay very high in the early part of this game. But what we really need is quick beats from the robots.
14.
Quo is already up 1-0 in this match.
So if Kuo wins this game, Chinese Taipei are your inaugural World Magic Cup champions. And he has an army of machines in the way.
Trying to decide between Kitchen Finks and Geist the St. Traft. Ultimately, this goes with the hexproof Geist. There's a cranial plating
Bash.
on Signal Pest.
3, 4. Okay. Go. Where'd you get that from? 6. 14. It's like Superman flying in.
It's like Superman flying in. Still enjoying himself under the most absurd of pressures. Good man, Jorge Iramman.
Cuidado, podemos ir próximo turno.
So, where do we go from here?
Quo's adding up all the extra artifacting
Yes.
that's going to go on from the blinkies and the inkies.
Is he getting hinky about the inkies and the pinkies? Yeah.
Thinks it's all kind of stinky.
Yeah. Not playing that game anymore.
Will you swear?
Pinky swear? Very good.
Creo que todavía. No, o sea, yo sé que ellos sí. Y
So
puede ser que sí
nothing
también, porque son
happening
muy-
right
ellos
now.
son muy
What's a thought? Not a lot of action.
yo estoy en 14 vidas y está en 10.
There was, in the previous match we were watching, there was a second Cavern of Souls in play, which was almost certainly on zombies.
Yeah.
So the mana leak would not matter there.
Regardless, sure.
Right.
Looks like Blood Moon has just been drawn. Yep, 4 of those out of the sideboard for the robots player. And Quo, there you see the board state that could determine the outcome of the World Magic Cup. Combat, says Iramman. Quo looks.
Combat.
And there's going to be a path to exile for the Signal Pest. So Iramman.
All eyes on Iramman as he searches out a mountain.
So Quo will shuffle and cut, as you should always. Good operations.
Red.
He's like, can I stick this blood moon?
And it is.
And
it is
where can I stick it?
Yeah.
Sorry. No attacks. Yeah. No attacks. Still in combat?
Oh. We may have gotten a little ahead of ourselves here. Remember, he announced
Still
combat.
in combat, yeah.
Get rid of the Signal Pest. I don't see what Quo can do here. He certainly wants to represent something. At the very least, doesn't look like he has anything in his hand he can do with the 2 mana. Oh, he can. Can he use his Tectonic Edge to some in combat to take out that red source, which is the Glimmer Post?
Puede ser también. Por segundo.
Wow.
Para hacer algo.
Wow. I mean, that's big right there, right?
Red. Blood moon.
No, that's
Yep,
they're
okay.
going to let all that happen. We're back to Quo.
Who ran out across an island with a little chuckle.
Emery.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, Emery.
Arcbound Ravager resolves. So I'm going to move the cranial plating over.
So this all mountain.
All mountain. Well, just like this. Combat.
So it's
For 3.
No. No lo es.
so it's 3-2 now.
3-2. 3 and 2.
So Restoration Angel comes in.
7.
7 to 8.
Galvanic Blast
Go ahead.
with Metalcraft takes out the Restoration Angel.
So Iramman
Only one blue and one white for Quo to work with. His other two lands are mountains, thanks to Blood Moon. He's got Kitchen Finks. He's got Kitchen Finks. He's got Threads of Disloyalty. He needs either a plains or an island to be able to use them. I'm just trying to see how many. He has 3 islands in his deck. That is his plains in play.
No 2.
Jorge Iramman is down to 2. Just 2 life points separate Chinese Taipei from being World Magic Cup champions.
Combat.
Iramman has 1 card left. He attacks. Quo is at 7.
No problem.
No blocks.
4.
Take 4.
Red 3.
Quo is at 3.
We've seen it before. Galvanic Blast for the win.
Dame la lista.
Oh. Heart
Look at his
pounding
deck
magic.
list. What does he have? What could it be?
Galvanic Blast.
Does it deal with this?
Is it going to be 1-1? Quo looks. It's 1-1.
Pump of the fist
They
from Iramman.
stay alive.
Take.
Iramman makes it 1-1. They're still in it. Puerto Rico keep on fighting. Wow, goodness gracious me. Startling stuff.
We're going to cut back across to
Standard, Yumin Yang leading Gabriel Nieves Ortiz 1-0 right now. So that's an equalizer. Wow. We were moments away, but now who knows how long.
Dame la lista cuando pueda. Dame la lista cuando pueda.
Qualifiers for the next Pro Tour begin August 25th. You could be on the big stage for Pro Tour Gate Crash, taking place February the 15th through the 17th, 2013, in Montreal, Quebec. For more information, visit wizards.com/PTQ.
So there you get a look at
When I shuffle his
Yumin Yang
when I shuffle his deck,
talking to the head judge, Gabriel Nieves Ortiz in the foreground.
Shuffle in different ways.
Okay.
Were you able to make out what that little interaction was about with the judge?
Yep, it was something like, it's 25 past 2 here. I don't know what time it is in your country, but in an hour and a half the lights go out. That's my guess. Again, I think that's been pretty sensitively handled. It's not that anyone has been actively trying to slow play, it's just there's a lot going on. There are extra people that import information.
Right, there are natural tendencies that are going to lead to play slowing down if it is not constantly prodded forward.
So you're looking at the man who now has the chance to make Chinese Taipei World Magic Cup champions. That's Yumin Yang. Sitting there at his first high-level event, played in a couple of Grand Prix, up against Gabriel Nieves of Puerto Rico. Nieves, 8 lifetime pro points. He has a top 8.
Yeah, he lost to Patrick Chapin in the top 8 of Grand Prix Orlando.
That's right back at the start of this year.
We want you to do another type of shuffle.
Like a random shuffle. Like split it.
Oh, getting a little. See,
That is.
I
How many
have
times you can ask me?
gotten
Yeah,
some,
how many times do you like me to do it?
Anytime you want.
Yeah.
some
ID is
if there was one sort of knock on the team from Puerto Rico is that they were a little rules lawyery
All right.
during the event. There was a very, very heated
So can you
match
do this?
against Bolivia.
Puerto Rico against Bolivia?
Yeah, it was very heated to the point where
don't know why.
Bolivia was going to concede to Team Canada just to, basically
shuffle game.
screw Puerto Rico out of winning their pool.
Good grief. That doesn't sound in keeping with this event particularly.
Well, exceptions prove rules.
Indeed. So the shuffling goes on here as we wait for Nieves and Yumin Yang.
Yo quiero que la randomice más, cabrón, porque eso mierda.
So while they are still shuffling, we're going to get a chance to take a quick look at perhaps one of the sideboards. There we are. His BDM on board, looking lovely and authoritative there. So that is the sideboard for Gabriel Nieves Ortiz.
Who is very excited about the opportunity about getting his Celestial Purges and his Phantasmal Images into this matchup, I'm sure.
I can well imagine that would be the case. Yes.
Really thinking about... mostly thinking about those Gyros Messengers, which are just a real problem for him.
Okay, and let's see if we can take a look at his opponent. This is Yumin Yang, of course, and we'll see what his sideboard has to offer. Playing the black-red, there you see it. Couple of Smelt, 2 Pillar of Flame, Arc Trail. You got a couple of Geth's Verdict, the 2 Nile Spellbomb, 2 Despise, and along the bottom row, Singletons. Distress, Phyrexian Metamorph, Surgical Extraction.
Certainly imagine the Geth's Verdict is coming in as some sort of answer to a Geist of St. Traft. Possibly for the same reason the Metamorph. And probably a couple extra red removal spells.
So the players gearing up, they're looking at hands. Do we have keepers? Yep, that's one keep. So now, what about Yumin Yang? We're away.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up all around. Time for more top-level Magic with everything at stake. Remember, if Yang wins this, we are done, and Chinese Taipei are the World Magic Cup champions.
I would like to start this game at 18 life and see what you are holding.
Okay then, we can do that for you. There's a Nile Spellbomb, there's a Fume Spitter, there's a Gravecrawler, there's a Gyros Messenger, and a Tragic Slip. I'm going to tell you, just hovering down beneath our scoreboard slash line there for you. Tragic Slip, the bottom card just off screen. So 2 land, plenty of early action. Of course, the players take a moment to write it all down.
And both players are writing it down.
And Su Chin Kuo just hovering in the background. The ringmaster.
Yep, and write them out down. Okay, pick them up. Another card that is going to come in from Nieves' sideboard is probably Mental Misstep. As he thinks about Diregraph Ghouls and Fume Spitters and Grave Crawlers all coming down, and Grave Crawler's a little tough to deal with permanently with a Mental Misstep, but sometimes you just need the timing.
Yep.
And obviously the Tragic Slips. And there is a Tragic Slip first turn from Yumin Yang. Does Nieves have a Mental Misstep? He does.
He does. Well done, you. Oh, that one
It
calls.
costs twice as much life as playing a Force of Will, but half as many cards.
Yeah, I'll take that.
No transformation to be had there. But there may be one in our future. Possibly even two.
There's an Augur of Bolus, a land, and another land. 2 islands and an Augur of Bolus. So, as 3, that's a miss.
有可能。20是主问上来会更奇怪。
他就可能要拼那个。
他喜欢扣血。
Both teams have completely huddled around this match, as our other table will hold.
That's right, yeah. We, Jorge Iramman and Suchin Quo, they get to wait. We'll see whether they need to play their final game.
So many secrets to delve. It's a mortar pod, and immediately kills the delver.
Thought scout myself.
Before the delver trigger.
Upkeep. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see. So in your upkeep, you're going to do that.
I'm going to get rid of that Augur Bolus in that land.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw a card. Now I'm going to see if I want to reveal a card. I don't. I did draw another delver, though.
Yeah, a hand of Mana Leak, Oblivion Ring, Delver of Secrets, and Maul and Haunt. Just looking at notes from sideboards and past games.
Chinese Taipei needs one match to fall their way to become the inaugural World Magic Cup champions. Puerto Rico, as has been the case throughout day 2 and the top 8, has an uphill climb ahead of them.
Yeah, there are a maximum of 3 games left in the World Magic Cup. Not 3 matches, 3 games. This one you're watching now, it has to be won by Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico has to win
force
all the
next
rest of the
one.
games.
Yes. Every single match from now to the end of the World Magic Cup has to go to Puerto Rico if they are to triumph. They have to win this one. Then we will go back, if it's still live, to Jorge Iramman against Suchin Quo. They're waiting for us. So they will play their game 3 next. And then these two, if it's still neck and neck, will battle head-to-head for the World Magic Cup title. But first, Gabriel Nieves has to win this game right here. The feeling sort of out there on Cover It Live, as far as I can tell, is that the zombies are in a pretty strong place against the Delver deck. That's what they seem to feel.
Yeah, I mean a lot of pinpoint between the mortar pod, the tragic slip, and the fume spitter. The Delver deck is not able to get out to its early I win draws as easily.
Yeah.
And the zombie deck has its own early I win draws.
Yes.
And as we saw, positions that you can't come back from. Well, I need to deal with those Jarl's messengers, but if I do, I will die.
I'll die by dealing with them, yeah. So you see Iramman in the background there, waiting to see whether he will get the chance to influence the title once more.
你想先叫大，
No, no, yo no puedo cantar.
先叫大，
There's a lot of chat going on here and not a lot of doing, must be said.
你怕那局。
Now spell bomb, offered up.
The Nihil Spellbomb came in, you know, largely to deal with Runechanter's Pike.
No me importa, pues ya tengo mi plan. Ya. Y como quiera lo quiero hacer para robarla, porque después yo voy a llenar mi graveyard de muchacha.
OK，
可以啊，不要移，不要移，叫一，叫减一。
OK，
The Fume Spitter gets mana leaked.
all the spells。
All the spells we hear from on the Chinese Taipei side.
They're feeling a little frisky as they get closer and closer to the win.
因为它里面有那个。
All right. Puerto Rico looks at the top of their deck.
对，一定有。
用他3回没翻。
Land number 4 comes down, or is about to. It's a glacial fortress.
换个角度。
How many cards? One.
So the 8th seed Puerto Rico still battling here. Long after most odds makers would have sent them home.
用这个赢他扛啊，不行，我要筹款。
看这问你就先。
Double Delta.
它会声音。
It's not quite the same as double aberration.
就移掉它筹码。你想要筹码？你想要筹码？
Remove。
负点。
So, Yuman Yang decides to go for
OK。
a card, remove Ortiz's graveyard. He makes a spirit token in response with Moreland Hall.
Yeah.
So while I have you here, you're going to be exiled anyway. Third land, which is what Yuman Yang was looking for.
So now he gets to make a grave crawler. He gets to make a fume spitter. And Fume Spitter is going to take out one of the Delvers while it's still in range of the singleton point.
Players consult their notes. What has he seen? What have I shown him?
还有地，手上还是地盘。手上地盘。
Celestial Purge transforms a Delver.
Oh, nasty. That is mean. Look what great news I've just had.
A couple of answers in Ortiz's hand. He's got an Oblivion Ring. He's got a Celestial Purge.
Are you prepared to make Ortiz the favorite in this game now? Would you be willing to go that far? He's still at 16. He's up against a deck that really wants to deal you the final 8 points of damage, not the final 16. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like Ortiz is in command of this game. Oh, sorry.
I would like to brimstone volley that.
Just shakes it at it.
Yeah, oh, and Moreland Haunt.
While you're tapped.
Mm-hmm.
While you're not here.
Yes.
Let me make this guy.
So we go back to Nieves, who has a pair of tokens. It looks like Lingering Souls is in action, but it really isn't. It's Moorland Haunt activation times 2.
我觉得手上是 match 的，
Tax for a couple of damage.
不是地牌。
Cards.
3
3 cards in hand
It's a
for
lot.
Yu Min Yang.
how many 3
And they ask back the other way as sort of courtesy and
因为他一直在看他会
precedence dictates. You say, how about you?
Who are you more scared of the cards in their hand? The player playing a blue-white sort of aggro control deck, or the player playing the straight-up aggro deck?
I think you're probably more scared of the straight-up aggro deck, because the straight-up aggro deck says if you ever tap out at the end of on your turn, I may kill you before you ever touch those land again.
Right, you need to balance these 3 cards all the way across this tightrope.
Yeah.
先抽地，先抽地，
Little knock on the deck there,
然后先打
which is what Chinese Taipei did when they eliminated the United States of America.
Absolutely.
What now seems a long time ago in this tournament.
Su Ching-Kuo knocked on knocked on his
the
teammate's
deck
deck.
for Terry Cheng
Yeah.
and said, "Let's have a bonfire, please, Bob." Fire.
你要装给他一个。第一个做两件事就是叫一个。
Kibler was, you know, he's always in good humor about it.
其实就是
But
浪费两个。
that's not to say he didn't need to go back to his hotel and, you know, wail at the moon a little bit.
Yeah.
Before coming back to play in the celebrity event last night.
Yeah, I mean, he said, you know, sometimes you have the whip flare, sometimes they have the bonfire.
就不要贴了，
Right.
浪费了。
浪费了。
The top of the deck cuts both ways.
Yep.
So there's another grave crawler.
他等下就要被你跟头猎杀。
So now we're swung again, maybe.
3 cartas todo encima.
Life totals gradually ticking down for both players, heading towards single digits. Damage starting to stack up on the table, and that's a blood artist, which is a big deal with the mortar pod sitting around. This is currently not a race that Nieves Ortiz is
Well,
winning.
he's going to make a 3rd spirit token.
It's, yeah, still not a race he's winning.
He can. I don't know. I actually don't know about that. He's going to be able to Oblivion Ring the Blood Artist.
No, that sure. No, I meant purely on board state.
Sure.
Absolutely. Get that blood artist out of there.
Or he could just Oblivion Ring the Mortar Pod
Uh-huh.
and
Yep, that's
Celestial
it.
Purge the Blood Artist. But one way or another, the Blood Artist has got to go. You know, or Ortiz is going to struggle to cross the finish line
Through a blood artist.
through a Blood Artist with just his 3 spirit tokens and no fodder coming, no grist for the mill to make more.
Yep. The more I see it, the more I love blood artist. Just great.
Yeah, this deck actually reminds me just a lot more of the old block Goblins decks with Goblin Sharpshooter and
like Goblin Bidding from that generation.
yeah, more or less from that generation. Not
Yeah.
the Goblin Bidding ones so much as,
but-
but you know the ones with Skirk Prospector and
Sledder.
Goblin
And
Sledder.
all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, right, okay.
All right. Take Yang to 8.
In they come.
I mean, keep in mind, Ortiz himself is at 12. So,
Yeah. So now with that 5 mana, as you say, he can send things around multiple ways, depending how badly he cares about the mortar pod.
I imagine he cares about it a fair amount.
Yeah, of course. But you have to feel, once you get down to this level, and we talked about the patience of Su Ching Kuo, an entire Oblivion Ring that answers pretty much every disease known to man or beast is something you don't want to toss onto a permanent lightly.
But right now it's a 3 possession game on either side of the table. right?
Sure.
So three attacks from the Flyers,
Yep.
3 attacks from the Grave Crawlers. If you Oblivion Ring the Blood Artist, you know your opponent may go to Mortarpod, may go to use their mana to Mortarpod to equip Mortarpod to a Gravecrawler, which you can then Celestial Purge in response, forcing him to waste his mana.
Sure.
And he's gonna
So-
put it. Oh, he's gonna put it on the Mortarpod.
And pass the turn. 8-12.
So
Celestial Purge mana open. The thing is, you really want Celestial Purge to be for a Giraffe's Messenger.
certainly,
You really don't want that to be. I mean, you know, it is 8 apiece. And once again, as we were about 15 minutes ago, we could be moments away.
Giraffe's Messenger.
And that's why you want to have a Celestial Purge. That's red alert, boys.
The thing is, I wonder if he had taken a different line.
Away it goes.
Would he have played the Giraffe's Messenger there, or might he have Mortarpoded a Gravecrawler?
Let's see what we draw. What are we going to draw? What are we going to draw? Okay, they know what they've drawn. We don't.
He's hiding his old card.
6 plays 8. No.
Okay.
Oh, Augur of
Augur of
Bolas.
Bolas.
It does so
Let's
much
have a
work.
look. There's a Celestial Purge there and 2 land. Celestial Purge and 2. You hear, oh no, oh no, from the other side. Ah.
还有沙画奖，对吧？所以没差。
Maybe we should go play the decks and they could come in here and commentate. It's awesome listening to like every card draw. It's like, oh no.
这样你要给他沙画掉，就给他沙比手方。
等一下先看我抽什么。
They're gonna send the Flyers in again.
5。
Yang's at 5.
Two attacks in the air will do it.
摸个骚。
We know he has Celestial Purge. Chinese Taipei know he has Celestial Purge.
Pulls his card up.
先想一下。他一定
Looks like it's a Cavern of Souls.
他挡一个破局，所以是你希望他破局。
What are the remaining cards in his hand?
我希望他
破局3了啊，为什么破局要换？破局会让你打一次换的话，他就靠一直撩起来，一定要打一个。
He can attack Ortiz down to 4 here, possibly 3 if the Blood Artist lives.
希望他
Deciding where to aim the Celestial Purge. Do you aim it at the other Gravecrawler?
我现在打他打了左回拳，
Doesn't change the clock of the game for Ortiz, 1 life.
他剩6嘛。
Get a look at what's on the line. A trophy.
There it is.
Between the 2 flags of each nation.
Give it to me now. All right, here's the play from Chinese Taipei.
Gerald's Messenger.
Messenger. Ortiz is at 4. Desperate race. I'm going to attack.
You must block.
But your guy's going to die. Blood Artist's going to happen. Desperate times here.
He can go to 1. Met Yang would go to 6.
要挖回来还是交手上？
看挖回来，你要防御吗？
I'm looking at Su Qing Kuo. And I'm looking at someone who I think thinks they're about to win.
I mean, a Rune Chanter's Pike would still win the game for Gabriel Nieves Ortiz.
So
Is he thinking about he
there's
purges the blood
Celestial Purge
artist
for the Blood Artist.
for 4 damage?
So that happens.
你要下地啊，你不要管它。
So exiled and dead are not the same. So Blood Artist doesn't do anything.
It's 2 to 5.
就挖回来，
He just needs to find 1 more point of damage here.
下地，下地，
Gravecrawler bites the dust.
Zombie.
Say zombie. Oh, what's the...
那是叫哪一个？
不会叫这个了。
但那个22挡了不会死啊，他用一个1就可以挡。
What's the question here? They've just laid a Cavern of Souls
Yeah.
and Diagraph Ghoul. All
Last
right,
card in his hand.
here we go. 2 plays 5.
Rubs the card.
Here they go again.
Peels it-
What's the whole
peels it
card?
slowly.
We don't know. They know we don't. Not fair. Are they going to be 1 point short?
Sí, pero que el problema es que estoy en 2 de vida. Sí, yo sé.
Vapor Snag would do it.
They are talking to each other as if there are things to discuss.
It could be a card draw spell, a ponder into a Vapor Snag would do it, into a Rune Chanter's Pike would do it. It's clearly not a land. He's not dead on the crackback. There is no more Blood Artist. He can block. He decides
So
to just attack with 1 Spirit Token.
Yeah, okay. Hum at 4. Utterly pulse-pounding magic here at the end of the World Magic Cup.
Augur of Bolus will block the Gerald's Messenger, go away, come back as a Spirit Token. Spirit Token will block Gravecrawler, another will block Diagraph Ghoul.
Pass the
What is
turn.
the card in his hand?
Back we go. Still can't see it. And
Is it
now,
a Restoration Angel?
and now, Chinese Taipei have drawn a Diagraph Ghoul. It's a land in hand for Puerto Rico, I can tell you. It's Glacial Fortress. In.
Still, he can still win with a Rune Chanter's Pike. Still very much alive. Or, you know, still some sign of brain activity anyway. You have to put Augur of Bolus in front of the Messenger. You want another token. You only have 2 instants of sorceries in the yard. You need to deal 4.
不要去想那些，就是你永远想他抽的地方就好，对，为什么那么累？
Yep.
Yep.
That's how it
As you
goes.
drew it up. Yes, that's fine. Advantage Chinese Taipei once again.
Gravecrawler comes
Back
back.
comes Gravecrawler. He's going to cast Diagraph Ghoul.
Gravecrawler also comes back.
Yeah.
用那个不能看。
Diagraph Ghoul.
This really is the end. This is it, one way or the other.
Okay, make a token.
I can tell you that there is only a land in hand
Yep.
for Puerto Rico. That dice is going to come off the top of the deck, and they are going to draw their destiny.
Rune Chanter's Pike, or a card that lets him draw into Rune Chanter's Pike, is what
Here
he
it
needs.
comes. Here it comes. He's looking. He now knows what it is. They're talking to each other. I don't think they've got it. I don't think
I don't
that's the
think they've
face of
got-
a
that's
team
not-
that's got it. That is, it's time to shake their hand.
So
It's a gut shot. It's game, set, and match to Chinese Taipei. Su Qingguo, Tung Yicheng, Yumin Yang. They have been rocking all over the world, and it is status quo here at the World Magic Cup 2012. They are your first ever Magic World Cup champions, and congratulations to them. They have been fantastic all weekend long. Puerto Rico, what an absolute triumph to be here on the final stage. Congratulations, of course, to them, as to all the top 8 who's made today so spectacular. Croatia, Puerto Rico, Poland, Philippines, Scotland, Hungary, Chinese Taipei, and the Slovak Republic. But my goodness gracious me, your champions are Chinese Taipei. Let's go down to the floor, and we're going to hand you over to the Pro Tour tournament manager, Mr. Scott Larrabee. He is down there getting ready to meet the champions of the world. Brian David Marshall, what do you make of that?
This is the anointment of a player we've seen coming for a while. Su Qingguo, the rest of the Chinese Taipei team, just a huge moment. The first ever World Magic Cup. A team neither you or I had on our list as a potential winner. We thought coming into this that the Slovak Republic, we thought coming into this Japan, the United States, but Chinese Taipei, a player who's racked up 160 pro points, more now. Lifetime pro points comes along and just shows the world how he got them.
There is absolute chaos out there. Can you say language barrier? I certainly can. It's time for the awards. Let's throw you to the Pro Tour tournament manager, Mr. Scott Larrabee.
Over there. Congratulations to the 2012 World Magic Cup champions from Chinese Taipei. Once again, big round of applause for the 2012 World Magic Cup champions from Chinese Taipei. Rich and Brian, back to you.
So there you are, Paul Reaney, the coach, as it were, the man who didn't make it into day 2. His score didn't contribute to them getting in. Yumin Yang in standard, Su Qingguo in modern, Terry Cheng in block. Listen, I'm going to undermine this whole team thing. I know it's a team effort. I know that everyone counts. Star is born on the individual global stage this weekend.
Absolutely. I don't know a single player who watched them play who didn't come away from it going, if you watch this Su Qingguo, he's quite good.
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, I watched him. He rattled off 12 straight wins individually. To pull his team forward. He lost the last round against Hungary in a match that was ostensibly for seeding, and in the end didn't even matter. Ostensibly for seeding, and was so verklempt that he lost that match that he went to Team Japan and said, how do I beat this guy? What do I do? Constantly striving to be better. Absolutely, I think A Star is Born is really, as funny as status quo is, I think A Star is Born is the perfect headline to sum up this weekend.
Okay. We said it was a day of firsts and a day of traditions being born. Who knows where Chinese Taipei will be a year from now when they come back to defend their title in the fabulous city of Amsterdam. But traditions begin with firsts, and your first World Magic Cup champion is Chinese Taipei.
And I just might add that if you want to see Su Qingguo in action again, you are going to have an opportunity.
When?
In less than 2 weeks.
When?
At the Players' Championship
Is that like 16 of the finest players the world has ever seen?
It is the 16 best players determining who is the player of the year for the 2012-2013 season.
That sounds so good, I might even turn up myself. Wherever you are around the world, thanks for being with us. We are going to send it back to the guys at the desk, Zach Hill, Sheldon Menery, and first of all, Marshall Sutcliffe.
Thanks a lot, Rich. We are back. Woo! At the booth. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. This is Zach Hill, and we just witnessed, well, like Rich said, some firsts. Talk us through that last game. There was some extremely intense action there.
I mean, that is just a textbook game. It's down to the wire. Great game of Magic. Really tense. I mean, both sides trying to nickel and dime damage out of each other.
Every piece of damage, right?
Exactly. I mean, the marquee threat from the zombie deck, either Falconwrath Aristocrat or Geralf's Messenger. The Geralf's Messengers didn't sit on the table very long. No Aristocrats. From the Delver deck, Delvers dying left and right, never sitting on the table, not flipping for any substantial length of time. Right. No Restoration Angel either. Just, spirit tokens, 1 mana, 2 power creatures, mortar pods, really trying to tick down those life totals. And in the end, it was just the zombie deck, the horde kept on coming.
It did.
It took it down.
Yeah, we saw some really, really tough choices there too. Super high pressure situations. We saw an Oblivion Ring.
Right.
He had a few different targets for it. There was a Blood Artist, there was a Mortar Pod, and that's the kind of decision that you make the wrong choice there, and the game's over.
Well, and all three of us were sitting there talking. We were like, which target do we pick? I think at one point we all picked different targets.
Yeah, and I still actually don't know which the correct was. I ended up picking Mortar Pod.
Right.
The team lost. That doesn't mean that was the wrong choice, but super high intensity stuff over there.
Right. You want to keep your spirits alive, but it's always scary to have a Blood Artist on the board.
Yeah, so we have witnessed the Chinese Taipei team, the verge of elimination against the U.S., one Bonfire the Damned later, a couple of days of Magic, and now they're our World Magic Cup champions inaugural. So what we're going to do now is we have the team here with our own Sheldon Menery over at the wall. We're going to send it over to him for a player interview.
Thanks, Marshall. I'm here with the winners, Chinese Taipei. Great tournament. Congratulations. What were your expectations coming into the weekend?
Brian David Marshall sent Guo an email before the tournament asking how we'd predict how we'd do, and we said we predicted we'll get first.
All right, so it seems as though you were right. So what do you think is happening back at home right now? Were there a lot of folks watching? Do you think there's some dancing in the streets?
Yeah, I think a lot of the Taiwanese Magic players were definitely watching.
So what do you think this means to Magic in Chinese Taipei now and for the future?
Maybe it'll become more popular to see the team come from their country and win.
Awesome. So great weekend, great championship. Congratulations very much. I'm Sheldon Menery. Back to Marshall Sutcliffe.
Man, whew, that's some confidence.
Yeah, they're not scared of anything.
Right. How are you going to do? Well, we're going to win.
Yeah.
No one else has a chance. We have the best player in the world on our team, and eat it.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You know what? I tend to disagree with that, yeah. So, wow, what a great weekend we had here, huh? The very first World Magic Cup. We had a ton of action. I think the team play was one of the most dynamic and interesting Magic I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do this again next year. But for now, it's time for us to go.
All right.
Are you ready to go?
I'd like to watch some more Magic. I'd probably like to play some more Magic.
Why don't we go play some Magic?
I think we should do that.
It's hard to sit here and watch it the whole time and not play, right? Okay, so congratulations to our champs, Chinese Taipei. Also, our runner-ups, Puerto Rico. Great run, guys. They did really a fantastic job. Also, on behalf of Zach, Sheldon, BDM in the booth with Richard Hagan, Greg Collins, covering everything in the back, Trick Jarrett, and everybody on the writing crew. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to see you at the Players' Championships in 2 weeks in Seattle. Can't wait to see you there. Thanks again for watching, everybody.